Madam Lovin, Deputy Prime Minister of Sweden, all the industry leaders which have assembled here and various agency leaders. I welcome you all. India and Sweden are working together for last 2 years now on this industrial transition track with many industries brought on the same table, and industries are committing many things. In India, we have done second India CEO Forum on climate change on 5th November 2020. Around 24 leading Indian companies have reaffirmed their commitment to take voluntary actions towards achieving India's NDC goals. Leadership in Industry Transition Group is also working towards promoting voluntary roadmaps for low carbon industry transition. As Madam Lovin said, that industry accounts for 30% of CO2 emissions. So industry has to reduce it. But how people are on their own have started doing it. Today I have 2 industry representatives from India. One is Dalmia and other is Mahindra. But let me tell you, we have a company called ITC Limited, which company in the world of comparable dimension to be water positive, carbon positive, solid waste recycling positive for 18, 15, 13 years respectively. This is huge. 50% of total energy requirement from renewable by 2030. ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel Limited have already achieved 32% of renewable, have they reduced their CO2 emissions by 32% and are aiming at 45% reduction by 2030. JSW Group is one of the major group, and CO2 emissions, their target is to reduce by 41%, and they are prepared and actually implementing the plan for this. Reliance Industry aim to achieve carbon neutral by 2035. Reliance is the biggest industry in country and they will be carbon neutral by 2035. That's the India's leadership. Mahindra will tell their own story. ACC Cement aspire to be renewable energy consumption to a large extent. Adani Transmission will be using 700 megawatt renewable power, thus increasing its share of renewable power from current 3% to 30%. Then Renew Power will also use 20 gigawatt of RE capacity, and Tata Motors will be using 21% of total energy from renewables, and the story goes on. What I am trying to say is that people are responsible, industries are responsible partners in the effort to mitigate the climate change, and they are taking up their own targets without anybody's dictate. So we have to encourage these voluntary contributions because that adds up to many things. But we cannot forget the real problem of the story. Yes, there are renewable rates which have come down heavily in India, and now that is a business model. But at the same time, let us also not forget that every climate action has a cost. So what happened to the $100 billion promised? Now it is $1 trillion because it was promised in 2009, now we are to 2020. Not even first $100 billion are on the table. So if we do not mobilize the funds as a historical responsibility, then the cost of this transition will be paid by the poor of the developing world. and that is not acceptable. The second is the technology, because technology only can bring these solutions. Technology, there are two stages. One, if it is in the lab success story, to bring it to the ground and implementation, we need research collaboration and collaboration for bringing the lab to land success. But there is another issue of affordable technology. I have repeated many times and I will repeat consistently that if we are thinking that climate change is a disaster, then nobody should profit from disaster. And therefore, this technology must be available at an affordable cost or cost of production. Because if we start making profits, it will be double taxation on the people of developing country. We are taxing poor. That's not climate justice. And therefore, I welcome all you, because I want to listen to, as I have listened to my Indian industry, that what they are doing on their own, I want to also know what industries around the world are doing. And for this leadership transition discussion is very important. I welcome you once again. Thank you.